What's up, F&Gs? This is Airsoft NCT, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be talking about the Quart Canteen covers of the Vietnam War. The Quart Canteen has gone through a couple of iterations, but primarily they looked like this during the Vietnam War. In fact, this one is dated 1963. So let's take a look at how these were carried with soldiers throughout the conflict. The main canteen cover that you're going to see, and probably the one you're all thinking of, is the M1956 first pattern canteen cover. Let's take a look at some of its defining features. On top, you have two black-coated brass buttons that would pop open to reveal the inside of the canteen cover, where you will find a nice felt lining. On the back, you'll see two slide keepers as well as a stamp down below. Even though this example of mine is very fresh, the stamp has worn away, and that is common on most that you'll see today. However, what you may not know is that there are actually two different patterns of the M56 canteen cover. Now, this being a first pattern has mainly one notable difference from the second pattern, and that is this cotton trim all along the lining of the canteen cover. This was done so that it did not wear out more quickly because it is a high friction area of the pouch. And with that being said, let's take a look at the second pattern. From what you'll notice, they're nearly identical. In fact, the design is pretty much the same with the slide keepers on the back. However, this time, instead of having a cotton trim up top, it has a nylon trim going all around the pouch. What you'll find inside is exactly identical to that of the first pattern, with the felt lining to keep the canteen at least somewhat insulated, and the brass buttons up top. And if you're curious why I pulled out this example, it's because it says DPDO XS. Even though this one is not in the best of shape, I think that's a pretty cool little stamp that I haven't really seen anywhere else. Now, with all of the M56 gear, most of it is cotton. In fact, throughout the entirety of the Vietnam War, you will see these pouches very regularly. However, it's not the only version of Quart Canteen cover that was seen. Any of you hardcore collectors do know that there was a set of nylon gear produced during the Vietnam War called the M1967 set. This particular canteen cover is very similar in design, however, it is entirely made out of nylon, and does have the same nylon trim as the second pattern one does. Internally, you will see the same felt lining. However, there are two things that are very different aside from the material of this canteen cover. The first thing that is different is this little pouch right here. Now, this design was retained even throughout all of the Atlas gear, and what this is a little water purification tablet pouch. So, soldiers could put their tablets right inside there and have it easily accessible with their canteen. The other thing that you'll notice is that the buttons are black and they're not worn away and there's no bluing, and that's because they're actually plastic. So the M67 experimented with a lot more plastic parts, particularly on the button snaps and the enclosures of the pouches. On the rear, you'll see the slide keepers on a nylon slat and the stamp right there on the bottom. This particular example of mine is dated 1968. I believe it's the same as the other one that I have. And while it was used throughout the Vietnam War, it really was only for late war and not seen in large quantities, as is true with all M67 gear. Now, if you're interested in picking up any of the M56 or M67 pouches, there's a few things to look out for. Here are a couple of examples of first and second pattern canteen covers. In fact, you guys already saw this one. But as you'll notice, it's very worn out in the front, and there's a reason for that. In these pouches, you will often see the canteen cups in addition to the canteens. And while these were made to hold both, it does wear it out a little bit quicker, which is why you'll notice some of the same holes on the same parts of both of these canteen covers. You can pretty easily find these at the time of this video for about $20 each, but I would highly encourage you to look a little bit harder because I have found all of mine for sub $12. If you are on the hunt for some M67 ones, these will actually be a little bit cheaper, I've found. I have found these, because they're a little bit less desirable, not as seen as the cotton M56 ones, to be somewhere around the $10 range. However, sometimes you could find them mixed in with Alice gear, the LC1 gear, because these look very, very similar. In fact, one of the main differences is instead of having the vertical stripes like on this M67, the Alice ones have horizontal strips. So I actually was able to purchase both of mine for about $5 each. All in all, the M56 canteen covers are nothing new. In fact, there are plenty of other videos, but I wanted to show you some of the main key differences that you might want to look out for if you're looking to collect all the different patterns. As always, there were some other canteen covers that were seen, such as the 2-quart, the 5-quart, the Arctic canteen cover. Now, those might show up in future videos, but these, being the most popular and common ones you'll see during the conflict, are something I wanted to show you guys all today. So that has it. Drink your water, and we'll see you in the next video.